If you're not making enough money in your business right now and you think you're going to be able to make more through multiple streams of revenue, I hate to break it to you, but that's a myth. I want to talk to you about why it's a myth. I want to talk to you about why you should not be trying to build multiple streams of income before you're already successful. And I want to talk to you about what you can do in the meantime to be able to start diversifying your revenue anyway. I'm Tara Wagner, breakthrough coach and lifelong entrepreneur. I help other entrepreneurs to crush their goals, not their soul, by mastering the mindset and the skills that allow them to think and act like an entrepreneur. If that sounds like your jam, hit the thumbs up button. That helps me out in the algorithm. And check out the other videos on my channel after this one. So I know it's a really sexy idea. If you want to make $100,000 a year, you've got to have multiple streams of income, because if you can't get past 30K or 40K on one stream, then what are you going to do, right? And this is the biggest, most dangerous myth out there. And it's what keeps most entrepreneurs below six figures. And I can only know this for a fact, not only because I've learned it and seen it from other people, but because I made this mistake myself. My very first business when I started 20 years ago was as a massage therapist. And I hit a lid, right? I couldn't make more than X number of dollars just working independently. And so I decided I need more streams of revenue. Like, let's figure out how I can build these multiple streams of income that everybody's talking about. So I went about trying to do just that. I started contracting other therapists to work with me and expanded from a one-person show to a company and had multiple therapists. I also started in-home spa parties. I started doing chair massages at events. We were already doing hotel massages. We were, doing chair massages at businesses. Oh, and I had those spa parties and I decided to sell the products that I was making, because obviously I had this image in my mind that these products were just gonna be this like best kept secret and people were gonna share them with everybody and everybody was gonna want them. And it's such bullshit. So there's this image in the book Essentialism. If you have not read this, you need to read this. But there's this image that really sums this up. You can either go in 10 different directions and really end up going nowhere, or you can double down on one direction and get really far. It's really easy to believe that more ideas are required in order to make more money, but it's just not true. More money doesn't come from more ideas. More money comes from mastering and expanding on one idea until you get it really, really good to the point where you can pass it off to somebody else on your team and it continues to make money. Then moving on and doing the same thing with a new idea. It's this concept of building one bridge at a time. If you want to cross the river from where you are now to where you want to get, from 5 figures to 6 figures, you're not going to do that by trying to build 10 bridges across this river. You're never going to finish any of those bridges. Your time and your resources are so minimal, they're so spread thin that you never actually get it completed. You end up burning yourself out. This was exactly what happened in my business. I was doing 10 million things, none of them very good, because I didn't understand the underlying mechanisms that were necessary to master one revenue stream. And that's the real kicker. If you don't have one revenue stream that is rocking it, then you don't have any business trying to do the same thing in another one, because all the problems from that first revenue stream are just going to be doubled, if not tripled, in the next one. You're not just doubling your time by doubling your ideas, you are quadrupling it because you're increasing the stress with the increase of the problems. So up until 100K, you need to double down on one thing. One idea, one concept. Maybe you have one product line, that's okay, right? Maybe you have a couple product lines, but you need to be focusing on one strategy to be able to build those. And until those are done and solid, you need to let go of everything else. You might need to let go of strategies, you might need to let go of platforms, you might need to let go of some of the things that you're currently offering. If you have too many offers and you're spreading yourself too thin, apply the 80-20 rule. Which of these offers are bringing in 80% of your income? let the other ones go, double down on those ones for a while, master those, master the sales behind it, master the marketing behind it, master the strategies behind it. And once it gets really good, then start bringing in the next idea, because now you have the skills and the talent and the experience to do the same thing, to duplicate the success. Otherwise, you're just gonna be duplicating your failures and your stress and your worries and your doubts and your lack of self-confidence and ultimately your burnout rate. Now, that being said, I am still a really big fan of multiple streams of income, even if you're not making 100K, because we don't need to put all of our eggs in one basket, right? It's just not safe. It's not sustainable. We want to be diversifying our income so that we have a little bit more of a security blanket should something happen. So how do you do this while still focusing on one bridge at a time? Number one, you take a percentage of every dollar you earn, even if it's just 1%, and you stick that into your own retirement fund. You pay your future self first. I talked about this in another video on the money-making habits. You can check that out in the link above my head or in the description. It is so crucial that you start doing this, that you start investing in a retirement fund, in stocks, in things that are going to build up over time. That you take that money, you ignore it, you pretend like it's no longer there, you put it into a good investment, and you allow that to build. I highly encourage you to do this from your very first dollar. Yes, you're taking money and investing it in your business, but you want to be taking it, and essentially what you're doing is investing it in other businesses by investing it in the market. This gives you that diversification. It builds the habit so that over time you make sure you maintain that habit, and you're ultimately going to have those multiple streams of revenue or multiple streams of income down the road when you really need them. The next thing you can do in your spare time is to do really simple things like tripwires or upsells. This means if you're selling a product line on your website now, maybe on the checkout page, you're adding some simple, like, do you want to add this? This would go really well with that. Those sort of things that are completely passive, right? We're going for totally passive so that you can focus on your main bridges, the main things that you're trying to accomplish with your one offer, your one marketing strategy, and so on. If you are a service provider or you have an online course or something like that, you've probably seen upsells where you get to the checkout page, you order something, and then it goes to another page that says, hey, here's this other thing, do you want to add it? You can do the same thing there too. You just want to make sure that you're either using something that's already been created, even if it's imperfect, because you don't need to be spending a lot of time and energy on this, or that it's something that you can create literally in one afternoon. It's short, it's sweet, it's probably an inexpensive add-on, but it creates additional passive revenue for you. Another truly passive option would be things like ad revenue, and this applies only in certain circumstances. So for instance, this channel, all the videos on this channel have ads, and that creates a passive revenue stream for me. This isn't something that I'm worried about. It's not something that I focus a lot on. It's not something that I count on. It's just a passive revenue stream that's going to get created through things that I'm already doing anyway. So maybe you have a blog that you can put ads on if it doesn't dilute the message or the work that you're doing on that blog. Maybe you've got a YouTube channel you could put ads on. Maybe you've got sponsors and you can have them sponsor newsletters. Again, what you're going for here is something that's truly passive, something that's not going to take any extra time, so that you can be putting all of your mental, creative energy into that one bridge that you're building until you master it. And then here's the last thing that I want you to know, and this is probably the most important. When you go to build a new bridge, don't just pick an idea that you like, that you think is sexy, and that you think other people will like. Listen to your audience. Ask them what they want from you. Ask them questions, get feedback. If you're not doing that, then odds are you're not creating something that's gonna sell, or you're creating something that could sell, but it kind of misses the mark because you haven't made sure that it's covering all the bases that they need to be covered. This is what I did in my business. My clients weren't asking for spa parties and spa products. I was just saying, ooh, I could do this, and ooh, here's a new idea. And that's what most entrepreneurs do. We are idea generating machines, but we struggle to follow through on them in part because there's so many of them. You are going to get to develop the self-discipline of focus, putting the blinders on and just focusing on that one bridge at a time. And then when it's time to build that next bridge, putting your blinders on and focusing just on what your clients or customers are telling you, literally out of their mouth, that they want you to create for them. When you do that, that next bridge really starts to take off. So again, I know this isn't sexy. I know that this isn't what you want to hear. And I know that this is hard. It is so difficult to choose one idea, one thing. So what do you choose first? You choose the one that's closest to cash. You choose the one that has the most potential. And potentially you choose the one that over time you'll be able to outsource as you grow your team. In other words, you can pass it off to other people who can help you to do that thing. If you're a service provider, you choose your one-on-one services because that is always closest to cash. And then maybe your next bridge is going to be a one-to-many service. If you're a product-based business, you're looking at your products and you're saying, okay, which ones are selling the fastest, which ones are selling the most, and you're focusing on really mastering the sales around that one first. It wasn't until I mastered this skill of focus, of blinders, of choosing one bridge and mastering that bridge that I finally broke the 6-figure mark and continued to grow from there. This, by and far, is the most important skill that you can have. Saying no to yourself when you've got lots of excitement over lots of great ideas. It's not that you're not gonna do them, you just gotta remind yourself it's not the right time yet. Comment below with patience if you know that that is a character trait that you get to develop if you wanna be successful in your business. And if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, that helps me out as well. Check out the other videos on my channel, especially if you're new here, and consider subscribing. And fist bump in the comments if you made it to the end of this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.